everyone, my name is Tony Bennett, post staff member with Team Full Assignment. Here today to give you some tips on how to hunt out of ground blinds. First tip is always have your hunting blind somewhere in a non-open area if possible. Try to tuck it against something, whether it be some pines or against a tree. Leaving your blind out in the open is pretty obvious, which I can show you here in these clips. In the first clip, we're about 10 yards away, and you can notice that the blind there's no breakup in any of the blind structure itself other than the woods in the back. And the next clip here shows you about 50 yards away. It's even more noticeable to not only myself, but it makes it easier for deer to spot you, whether you're out in the woods in an open wood lot. This blind is we're about 10 yards away, and this is what it looks like from about here. We're at 50 yards. Much harder to detect that the blind's there being next to the pine. Spending an extra minute brushing in your blind will greatly improve your camouflage, as well as hiding yourself and your blind there. Along with being camouflaged, the silhouette and the backdrop are greatly diminished. Along with brushing in your blind, I always have a spare saw in my toolkit, so when I get out to the area I want to be, it's only a matter of minutes before I can have it completely brushed in. Simply just keep one of these or a pair of pruners in your pack. Next thing I want to talk about are the shoot-through window mesh as seen here. I prefer, if I'm archery hunting, to take out the shooting mesh. I know a lot of guys like to keep it in to hide themselves, but I've never had good success having an arrow go through it. It's always made my shot off just a little bit. Now for gun hunters, I would probably leave it up. It helps camouflage you that much more. For putting your shot through, it'll easily go through. The only way I still take it down when I gun hunt. Only reason is lets more light in, then I can see better through my scope. I'll show you what you look like inside the blind when you wear camouflage. You can see I have all three windows down, so I can see all behind me, which is in this woods right here. I have the windows down, I have my best camouflage on, and I stand out pretty good. Any sort of movement can easily be detected from any range at any time. Now the only exception is if you're a gun hunter and you're shooting over, let's say 100 yards or so, it'd be much harder for the animal to see you that close. But for handgun archery hunters, we got to be as close as we can be, and this is pretty easy to spot. Now in this next clip, I have the back window closed, and I stand out even more with that silhouette. Same as your blind on the outside, they can see everything moving inside. Next tip is always wear something black. Whether you have a hooded sweatshirt, an old coat, ditch the camouflage. Being that your backdrop is black in your blind, makes you to move around without being detected. Now for this next clip, I've got a black hooded sweatshirt on. Being that my backdrop is black, so I figured I'd have that on. The only problem here is I'm about in the middle of the blind and my face is not covered. It's pretty easy to detect where my face was at the whole time when I was moving around. In this video, I have my black shirt on, we're about 50 yards away, and you can see that I have my hat on, easily moving around. Although I have my black on, still necessary to cover your face and your head. Sitting back in your blind is the best possible option. Also with that, remember only open windows that you need necessary to see out of. I mean, from time to time you can peek out, pull a window down a little bit to look out back, but for the most part leave the windows that you need open and close the ones that you don't need. Sitting farther in the back of the blind in all black clothing will easily make you disappear into the dark, which is hard for the animals to detect. You can see I'm moving around quite a bit, and at one point I almost disappear with the blind. Now in this last video, you can notice I've got my hood pulled over my head. Yet again, we're 50 yards away, and I'm completely invincible. At some point, I start waving my hands just so you can see where there's any movement, if you can see any movement at all. Now, being only 50 yards away, it could make or break the hunt. Hunting out of a ground blind this year, bow hunting, and using the tips that I've given you, it has greatly improved my area of hunting. I've seen more deer this year. I've stayed dry all season long and comfortable. I hope these tips help you in seasons to come. If you have any comments, please comment on the video or comment on our Team Full Assignment page on our Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.